to the Pakistanis, it should only be said they should be careful about the people, the snakes they are allowing, to grow in their own backyard. There's no guarantee that tomorrow Zakiur Rehman Lakhvi will not carry out a 26/11 kind of massacre on Pakistani soil with Pakistani citizens being his potential victims, because people like Lakhvi run on money. When the army pays them, they kill for the army. Tomorrow they run out of control, they can carry out a massacre in Pakistan itself. As Pakistan has seen, and I hope Javed Iqbal and Javed Hussain hear me loud and clear today, you grew the Taliban and look what they did in Peshawar. You are allowing Lakhvi to now get away. You must be sure that he won't carry out a 26/11 type attack, on Pakistani soil. Anyway, since you never learn, Admiral Javed Iqbal, Brigadier Javed Hussain, welcome. I'd also like to welcome from Ajmer live tonight, Maroof, Raza, GD Bakshi from Delhi, Ujjwal, Nikam, Special Public Prosecutor, the 26/11 case, RSN Singh. And Ujjwal, Nikam, I'd like to first pit you against Rizwan Abbasi. Rizwan Abbasi, are you there? Good evening. Rizwan Abbasi? Mr. Abbasi, are you there?
Yes.
You're on the line from Islamabad.
Yes.
Mr. Abbasi, I hope you can hear me.
Your voice is not clear.
Okay, so can you hear me clearly now? And Rizwan Abbasi is the lawyer for Zakiur Rehman Lakhvi. Can you hear me, Mr. Abbasi?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Abbasi, I'd like to tell you that taking you on is the public prosecutor in the 26/11 case, Ujjwal Nikam, the very well-known lawyer. He's live from Nashik. So, Mr. Ujjwal Nikam, I'd just like to put a couple of questions to the lawyers on both sides. The first time, Lakhvi's lawyer and 26/11 lawyer from the Indian side are against each other. Mr. Abbasi, this is the greatest joke. In fact, I think, Mr. Abbasi, you should protest and you should quit as a lawyer in Pakistan today, because all the reasons given by the court are rubbish. May I please point out to you the factual mistakes that the court has made? One, Mr. Abbasi, the reason given by the court is that there was a delay in the registration of an FIR. Tell me, Mr. Abbasi, so many people die and the Pakistan government delays in filing an FIR by 2 or 3 months. That is also because they were too busy denying the Pakistani role in the attacks for those 2 or 3 months. How does this negate the crime committed? I don't understand. It breaks all logic. I don't understand. Does the delay in filing an FIR by 2-3 months negate the crime committed?
Listen, first of all, this is very strange when you embark upon the order passed by the court. And secondly,
because it is a laughable order.
Listen. So far as delay in registration of the FIR is concerned, this is not a ground for grant of bail. Who told you that because of delay in registration of FIR, bail was allowed?
May I read out from you? May I read out for you, Mr. Abbasi? The order, 1 minute, Mr. Abbasi, I know my facts. The order for the release of Lakhvi said, and I quote, as per the contents of the FIR, the occurrence took place in November 2008, whereas the report was lodged on February 2nd, 2009. Why was this observation made?
No. These are the facts which have been narrated by the court. This is not a ground.
What is the relevance of this fact when this delay happened because Pakistan was denying the Pakistani role in the attacks?
Listen, these are the facts. This is the background which has been narrated by the court.
So it's an irrelevant background.
This is not a ground for grant of bail.
Okay, so what is now, 1 second, the reason given by the court? 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will not now object if I tell you point number 2. Reason given by the court, and Ujjwal Nikam, you can respond after that. Reason given by the Pakistani court is that the prosecution inserted an offence against the accused which was non-existent in February 2009 when the FIR was registered against Lakhvi. Now, please, Mr. Abbasi, I don't know where the Pakistani judges learned law, because if the prosecution inserted an offence against the accused which was non-existent in February 2009 when the FIR was registered, who is to be blamed? It is an escape route. It is an escape route. Ujjwal Nikam, any doubts?
Listen, Pakistani courts, Pakistani judges, they are very learned judges.
So it doesn't appear so. It appears they are foolish, unaware.
Talk like this. And listen.
It appears they are foolish, unaware, and they are giving a terrorist an escape route.
I do not know what kind of journalism you are doing.
Sir,
And these are
sir,
not
what
a
kind of judges do you have? Don't teach me my journalism. I am asking you, if the prosecution inserted an offence against the accused which is non-existent in February 2009, who is to be blamed? Is it not an escape route?
Listen, dear.
I am listening.
Again, this is not a ground for grant of bail.
Okay.
You may read operative para.
No, I have pointed out.
This is the background of the case.
Sir,
this is not the operative
sir,
para.
now on two points you have not been able. Ujjwal Nikam, these are 2 points which Ujjwal Nikam which were given by the court. Do you believe that Lakhvi's lawyer has been able to explain this, or do you think he's trapped tonight on the Newshour? Do you feel Mr. Abbasi is not being able to give a clear answer?
Arnab, at the outset, I would like to make it very clear. I don't want to comment upon the order of the Pakistan court. But at the same time, I must with strongest word would say that the Pakistani prosecuting agency could not properly project the evidence which was collected and supplied by the Indian authorities to Pakistan investigating agency, number one. Number two, during our personal meeting with the Pakistani prosecuting agency in Islamabad, we pointed out certain patent defects which were occurred in their investigation, and we were assured that they will rectify those defects. Those defects were never rectified. Thirdly, now the court, the grounds on which the Pakistani court arrived at a conclusion that there was no sufficient evidence and therefore they granted the bail. Let me tell you, my friend Mr. Abbasi, that when Pakistan Judicial Commission had visited Mumbai and when they have recorded the evidence of Indian witnesses like the magistrate who had recorded a judicial confession and the learned lawyer who was appearing on behalf of Lakhvi, cross-examined the magistrate, police officer, doctors, chief investigating officer Mahale, and entire evidence was produced before the Pakistan court. According to the Pakistani law, if conspiracy is hatched outside Pakistan, and if evidence is collected by deputing an emergency judicial commission, then why such evidence was overlooked? This evidence was overlooked
Answer,
only
Mr.
because
Abbasi.
Pakistani prosecuting
Answer,
agency
Mr.
did not
Abbasi.
protect it properly.
Answer, Mr. Abbasi.
Now give me 2 minutes to reply your contention. Listen, whatever you are saying regarding bail granting order, this is not the operating para wherein bail has been allowed. Bail has been allowed on one ground, that number one, whatever was alleged against my client and whatever witnesses prosecution wanted to produce against my client, they could not substantiate the allegation.
Sir, I have only one question for you.
Listen.
No, sir, you listen.
Abbasi, kindly,
1
Abbasi.
minute, sir. Okay,
Abbasi,
okay.
kindly excuse me.
Second contention
The
of my
evidence.
friend who was prosecutor of Mumbai attack in
Sir, I have one
in
question.
India.
No, I have
Listen,
one question for you, Mr. Abbasi, who is Zakiur Rehman Lakhvi's lawyer. First of all, if Ujjwal Nikam wants to make a point, I'll let him and then I'll add my point. Yes, Ujjwal Nikam, why don't you go ahead first? Go ahead.
Let me tell you, Mr. Abbasi, the evidence so far as that was adduced in Pakistan court, that was not the entire evidence. The evidence in respect of the criminal conspiracy should be considered in totality. It is very seldom to have the direct evidence on the point of the criminal conspiracy. So why the Pakistan court did not wait, why the prosecuting agency did not ask more time to adduce more evidence? In fact, they have not exhausted the entire evidence. But I must tell you, Arnab, this is the very failure of the Pakistani prosecuting agency, because they did not ask for adjournment on the day when the bail order was passed. Secondly, they waited, like Arnab, 1 minute, Arnab, 1 minute. They waited for the certified copy of the order. They took long time to study the order of the court. In fact, in very serious crime, only on the plain copy of the order of the court, I obtained a stay to the order of the bail, and then I preferred the cancellation of bail. Because principle governing cancellation of bail are stricter than the bail principle for granting the bail. My friend Abbasi, I don't know whether he had visited Mumbai on that day, because one senior lawyer was appearing on behalf of the Lakhvi in Mumbai court, and he cross-examined our prosecuting Indian witnesses. But let me tell you, Mr. Abbasi, there was a strong, overwhelming evidence so far as the criminal conspiracy is concerned. Lakhvi was not charged. for the killing of 166
no, he wasn't.
person. That
No,
was
there
the charge
wasn't.
302 read with 120.
No, there wasn't. No, he wasn't.
No,
No.
let me answer.
Mr. Abbasi,
Let me answer.
Mr. Abbasi, before you answer, let me tell you one
Yes.
thing. Be careful of what you say. Because the fact is, there was not even a parallel investigation by the Pakistani authorities into the conspiracy hatched against India over 26/11. Was there an investigation into the conspiracy angle? No. They relied on Indian evidence while the government dismissed the evidence. This is the fact. So, Mr. Abbasi, I'm sorry to say this. Don't think you've won this case because of what you've done. If today
this is
your
incorrect.
lawyer
This
is
is
being,
incorrect.
if the terrorist you are representing is getting away, it is because the government is allowing him to get away. Now, Mr. Abbasi will move on.
I also take exception. Listen, when information was conveyed to the government of Pakistan, then investigation was carried out by the Pakistani agencies. And after investigation, they lost
Arnab.
FIR.
Sir, wrong. We are now opening up to debate.
Now listen.
One second. No, sir. No, sir. RSN Singh coming into the debate. Maroof Raza. No, this is not right, please. No, Mr. Abbasi.
Arnab.
Mr. Abbasi, we are getting our counters and I'd like to welcome the rest of our panelists also, please. GD Bakshi coming to you. Yes, please go ahead. RSN Singh.
In the aftermath of the Peshawar tragedy, the Pakistan military has demanded special court to try out the terrorists. It has cited that Pakistan judiciary cannot be trusted because it is too lenient with the terrorists and is responsible for proliferation of terror in the country. Now here, and by the way, this has been endorsed by none other than Nawaz Sharif. And I am told that he has been blackmailed into it as a precondition for continuance of Zarb-e-Azb. Now, they do not trust their own courts, and you expect the Indians to go by what your courts say? When you don't produce evidence in your judiciary, which as it is has been subverted, what kind of faith we can have in your judicial process? And let me tell you, let me caution you that these ad hoc measures, these transient emotions, ad hoc measures based on transient emotions is not going to purge your country out of terror. You may have any amount of military courts. You can have no salvation from terror unless you change your narrative, and that is the social, psychological narrative and your mindset.
Now, Mr. RSN Singh, and this question goes to Javed Iqbal and Maroof and GD Bakshi. I'm coming to you, but let's look at a broader issue even before we go into the legal aspects of the case, because Javed Iqbal and Javed Hussain, legally you've already destroyed your own case. Legally you have no case. You don't trust your courts, we don't trust your courts. You don't trust your government, we don't trust your government. And I know heart of heart, Brigadier Javed Iqbal and Javed Hussain, you don't trust your army and we don't trust your army. My fact is simple. Let me remind you that your High Court's decision to release a terrorist, Javed Hussain, a terrorist who has the blood of 160 plus people on his hands, is an affirmation of the fact that you continue to distinguish between good terrorists and bad terrorists. The Pakistan Taliban is someone you'll go after, but Lakhvi is someone you will patronize with kid gloves because of your anti-Indian agenda. Why don't you give up your anti-Indian agenda now? Brigadier Javed Hussain, when will you stop? When Lakhvi carries out a massacre, another massacre like Peshawar type massacre, if he carries out a massacre in Pakistan, will you stop then? Do you want more massacres to happen, Javed Iqbal? Do you want more Pakistani blood to be spilt now before you come out and say we are the victims of terror? Javed Iqbal, Javed Hussain, are you thinking or have you become unthinking in Pakistan?
No, I'm not thinking.
Yes.
I am surprised that you are contradicting yourself. Arnab, you are making fool of yourself because your, panelist, he says that we do not trust our courts. And that is and then you expand it that we don't trust our government, we don't trust our army. Let me tell you, I trust my army, I trust my government, I am on one page with them. Only you are not trusting, you are scared of them. Let's say If we have not been
Have a
able to
reasonable
come up to
argument,
your
sir.
level,
Have a reasonable argument.
Look,
Javed Iqbal,
listen,
be reasonable.
You are
be reasonable. This is a
be
serious.
reasonable
this is
also.
A, no, no,
be reasonable.
Javed Iqbal.
Be reasonable.
Javed Iqbal. You know, you convicted.
You
convicted.
No,
1 second.
Have you demanded military courts or not?
Listen, you waste our time. by
Javed
not
Iqbal,
listening. Listen,
you,
my
Javed
thing
Iqbal,
is
understand
that
this.
I agree with your panelist. He has pointed out the right finger. Please listen. He has pointed the right finger that if we are opting for military court, there are lacunas in our judicial system. So if we are suffering,
So,
and
no,
you
1
are
second.
also
So,
suffering,
question is simple.
what is the-
Javed,
what is
no,
the
no,
big
Javed
thing
Iqbal, 1
about-
second.
have
Question
we-
is simple.
no, have- are we one
1
of
second.
your- are we one of your
Javed
province?
Iqbal, Javed
should
Iqbal,
we
1
listen
minute,
to
please
you?
think. You admit, I'm so happy tonight. I'm so happy tonight that a Pakistani admiral,
There's nothing to be.
a Pakistani admiral comes on an Indian news channel and has the courage to say that his country's judiciary is ineffective. I congratulate you, Admiral Javed
Yes,
Iqbal,
that is why.
for admitting that your
Otherwise,
judiciary is
my
incompetent.
army
I admire your courage
against those-
that you have the courage to come on
Yes,
an
I
Indian
have
news
the
channel
courage.
and take on your
Only
own judiciary.
Arnab,
I admire you for that.
You don't have the courage to
But
admit.
I wish you had
don't
the courage.
have the courage to admit.
I wish you had the courage to
No,
take
you
on
don't
your
have the
generals.
courage to admit
GD Bakshi,
that 16
GD Bakshi is
December,
responding to you.
You don't
GD
have the
Bakshi.
courage.
GD Bakshi.
No.
GD
You
Bakshi.
don't have the courage. Let me
GD
complete
Bakshi
it.
is
You
responding.
don't
We'll
have
argue
the
factually.
courage. You
I will
don't have the
Admiral,
courage to
kindly.
GD Bakshi
accept
will respond.
that
Admiral,
you are
kindly.
sponsoring
Bakshi.
terror.
Admiral,
That
kindly,
16 December-
can I have my
Bakshi,
say?
please let me-
Can I kindly
Bakshi,
have my say?
please let me just-
Arnab,
just
I
one
would like to
sentence.
state
Arnab.
unequivocally, that we have seen Pakistan's outrageous duplicity in full display. Also, we have seen their hypocrisy and double standards. Let me explain to my Pakistani interlocutors. Number one, you find your judicial system on the evidence of the Admiral himself as flawed in the pursuit of justice against terrorists. You are opting for military courts. Why have you not adopted the military court route for our, the people who are guilty of the massacre
You are
in
not
India?
number one priority,
Number one.
Bakshi.
Number
You are
two.
not number one
Excuse
priority,
me.
Bakshi.
Excuse me.
Our people
Let me
are number
finish.
one priority.
Let me finish.
You are not number
Let
one
me
priority.
finish.
Let
Let me finish. Admiral,
you are not
kindly
priority.
let me finish.
No.
Kindly let
Bakshi,
me finish.
You are
I
not
haven't
my
completed
priority.
my argument.
My own people are
I
my
have
priority.
not completed my argument. Please let me finish. Please let me finish. Okay. What I was saying was that when Pakistan was made to bleed in Peshawar by their own proxies, by their own people, they had raised and fed the snakes.
And by
They had
Indians.
fed with milk. Then
And
the
by the
Pakistani, excuse me, please. Then the Pakistani army chief and the head of the ISI go to Afghanistan. Fazlullah be handed over. They threatened hot pursuit. And when the Afghans remind them that if you want Fazlullah, how about Mullah Omar?
No,
How about-
General
how
Bakshi,
about,
General Bakshi, first of all, General Bakshi,
Yes,
first of all, I think a very important admission is being made, and as I welcome Rashid Qureshi into the debate, I'd like to tell you, Rashid Qureshi, that today Admiral Javed Iqbal has on Indian television just admitted that the courts and the judiciary are incompetent and cannot be trusted. He has said so on Indian television, and I think it is a candid admission. I wish he had the courage to say this earlier. My question, Maroof.
Absolutely.
Maroof, my question. 1 minute, gentlemen. My question is, Maroof, Pakistan removed the moratorium on the death penalty in cases of terrorism. They are willing to release a terrorist who killed more than 160 people in Mumbai. They hung 2 convicted terrorists on December 19th, are willing to release a terrorist who killed more than 160 people in Mumbai. And Pakistani analysts come on the program and say, you are not our priority. In other words, the priority is Pakistanis who died, Indian who died, doesn't matter. Indian women, men, children died, families torn apart, and an open act of terrorism carried out, not the priority. In other words, complete negation of the 2611 case. Should
Yes,
India then
you
demand
are
that
not
let the
our
26...
priority. My
Sir,
own
please.
people are my
Sir,
priority.
please. Our people are our priority and your people killed our people. Don't forget that.
Yes.
Don't forget that. And yes,
Arnab,
what do you mean yes? Today at least you have the courage to admit that.
Can I come in?
Maroof,
Can I
please.
come in,
Maroof,
please?
where do we go then next? Maroof. Yes,
Arnab,
Maroof.
Arnab, there are 3 quick points I wish to make. The one is that whenever you bring in what points you are bringing out is precisely at the heart of the Pakistani position, that those who target Pakistanis are the enemies of the state, but those who are kept and harbored and nurtured in Pakistan to target Indians are seen to be acceptable as strategic assets. Now, let me bring out 2 facts. I'm quoting from the Dawn newspaper on the 20th of December, an article which calls The Poison Within, in which they have cited that in the last so many years, the ATC in Islamabad has failed to punish or point fingers at a single case of terrorism. When people say the judiciary there is unable to come up with adequate proof or to punish people who are in acts of terror, Pakistanis must realize that the judiciary is weak there. It has not been provided with adequate evidence. In the case of Lakhvi, there is enough recorded evidence that he was protected by the military establishment and the ISI. In fact, General Shuja Pasha, the head of ISI, was the first person to meet Lakhvi on the 7th of December 2008 in Adiala Jail to tell him that do not link ISI with this entire operation, although the ISI orchestrated it initially under General Kayani when he was DG ISI. And the third point I wish to make is that when Pakistan talks about their great battle against terror and Zarb-e-Azab, 2 things have not been highlighted. One is, before Zarb-e-Azab was launched by General Sharif, they had forewarned many of the Haqqani warlords and leaders to disappear from the area, and when the bombardment took place out there, the bulk of the people who suffered were innocent civilians.
Oh yes, Javed
Officers
Hussain.
of the Pakistan army died, yes.
Yes, Javed Hussain.
And at the same time,
That's a known fact.
1198 other so-called Taliban was killed. But Pakistan must realize that this operation was initiated at the behest of China, which was suspecting that from there, they were threatening the Uyghur rebellion in the Xinjiang province of China, which Pakistan did it at the pressure from China and not from the United States. Pakistan is today emboldened because General Sharif had a 2-week successful visit to the United States, where the US tells General Sharif that you are the great warrior against terror. But what war against terror are they fighting? Are they doing anything against those who are killing innocent Indians or plotting to do that? As you have rightly brought out, Arnab, you keep vipers and snakes in your backyard, and that's what the Dawn newspaper also says. They will eventually bite you, and they will bite you very hard. It is just a matter of time. Today you have woken up to the menace of the Taliban
for you?
They killed your children.
No, 1 second.
Tomorrow you will wake up. Tomorrow you will wake up when Lashkar-e-Toiba and Lashkar-e-Jhangvi people walk.
No, Brigadier, there has to be a Maroof, a minute. Maroof, a minute. Let's understand from Brigadier Javed Hussain and then Rashid Qureshi. You see, the Pakistani army could be having its moment of epiphany. They may have realized, Brigadier Javed Hussain, that they too, like the Pakistani judiciary, the Pakistani army too is suffering from a large amount of incompetence. Why else would this be done with Zakiur Rehman Lakhvi? You tell me one thing, Brigadier Javed Hussain. How is it that Zakiur Rehman Lakhvi can file an appeal in the Islamabad High Court against his detention under the maintenance of public order, but the government cannot do the same against his bail? Does it make any sense to you? Zakiur Rehman Lakhvi can file an appeal, but the government can't file an appeal against his bail. Just tell me, does it make sense to you anymore? Brigadier Hussain, can you hear me or can't you hear me? How is it?
That is very
I've heard you.
No, any of us, 1 second. How is it that that Lakhvi can file an appeal against his detention, but the government can't file an appeal against his bail? Just tell me, explain this to me.
You see, the delay took place because of the Peshawar tragedy preoccupations. Number 1.
Sir, wrong.
Number 2.
Sir, wrong. On December 24th, the Defendants Council warned the Pakistan government they would appeal against the detention if Lakhvi wasn't released, instead of ensuring there was a legal counter to Lakhvi by challenging his bail. The government chose to sit tight and do nothing.
Keep on talking. Keep on talking.
I'm giving you facts.
Keep on talking.
I'm giving you facts.
You listen to me. I don't want facts from you.
Sure, you don't want
You
facts
listen
from
to me.
If the ISI
You've
gives you
called
facts,
me
you'll
to
accept.
take part in a debate. You don't let me speak. Be patient. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, counter me. Counter me.
The
I
thing
want to
is
understand how this happens.
That the government nor the Adiala Jail, they have not received the court order as yet. Once the court order is received, then it will go to the law ministry for vetting. And then the decision will be taken by the government
Laughable.
for two
Laughable.
things. One,
Laughable.
This
Ujjwal
verdict-
Nikam, 2611,
this ver-
prosecutor is laughing. He's raised his hand. Yes, Ujjwal Nikam. What's your contention, Ujjwal Nikam?
Arnab, I'm
Let him
sorry,
laugh.
I'm
No, no,
sorry,
this is-
I'm
no, this is-
disturbing
Let him
my
laugh.
late retired friend. But Arnab, I must tell you,
Bolo yaar,
even
go ahead.
on
Go
uncertified
ahead.
copy of the
talk
order,
as much as you want to.
one can prefer an appeal in the High Court. My basic question is, why the Pakistani prosecuting agency did not apply to the same court for staying the execution of the bail order? Why they did issue the detention
Listen,
order?
listen.
This
Answer.
detention order is nothing but it's an only eyewash, and it is just only farce to give solace to the Indian government that we are detaining them and we are not letting out free. But Lakhvi was bound to challenge this
reason-
detention order because this detention order was based on the very fact that Lakhvi has been granted bail by the Anti-Terrorism Court, and on the same basis, Pakistan government wants to detain him. This order was absolutely unconstitutional, illegal, and the same Lakhvi had done it.
Absolutely. I think our Pakistani guests conceded tonight. I think our Pakistani guests all concede the double standards which are being shown in this debate. That's why Brigadier Javed Hussain, you can't respond. Can Rashid Qureshi respond?
One question.
No, can any of our
question.
Pakistani
Not a
guests
debate.
respond?
Arnab, one question.
No, one second. Can any
You
of our
don't-
Pakistani
you don't
guests respond? Can Rashid Qureshi respond?
You
Rashid
don't
Qureshi-
interrupt the Indian panelists.
One question
No,
to the
one second,
Pakistanis. Arnab,
Maroof,
one
one
question.
second. Maroof, please. Otherwise, our Pakistani panelists say we
question,
did not
Arnab.
give them an opportunity to speak. I'm giving all opportunity to speak. It's clear.
You've given them enough,
No,
Arnab. You've
Maroof.
given them
In
enough.
fact,
One
I'm
question.
asking General Rashid Qureshi. Rashid Qureshi, you've been in government. What on earth is going on? Why didn't the Pakistan government immediately appeal against the bail? Question one. The Pakistan government claimed they received the bail order from the court on December 27th. Why did it take 9 days for the court to release the bail order to the prosecution? Why hasn't been an explanation for this? And why did you insist that the bail order be released to you? Why didn't you insist the bail order be released to you before the court's holiday session began? You see, if I go into details, the entire system in Pakistan will be exposed. So, Rashid Qureshi, why are you doing this? No, I have explained to you some clear facts. Why
Arnab.
are you doing this?
Arnab, hold on. Don't get panicky.
No, I'm not
I
panicky.
think,
I am
what you're
angry.
doing
I'm
is-
not panicky. You respond to me.
Yes, okay. Don't be angry. The
Well, I
point
certainly
is
will be, but do
that
respond to me.
You have asked questions. You've asked questions from the government of Pakistan, and you've asked questions about the law or the legal
He's suffering from
procedures.
psychosis.
I am not qualified.
Sir, don't get personal.
on
Please
either,
respond.
On either
a
of
patient
these.
of psychosis.
No. You, at least,
When it comes
at
to
least
Pakistan.
listen to what I have to say. I am neither in government, nor am I a lawyer, or a part of the judicial process. So, frankly, to be able to answer what
General
you've
Saab.
asked,
No.
I would have to
You
be
have
one
been
of
in
the two.
government.
One.
You have
Number
been in
two.
government.
Number two. Number
Arnab,
two. Yes.
Arnab, one quick-
By being in having been in government doesn't
No, but
mean
you've done the same
that
thing
I
in
would
government.
Understand.
You've done the same thing in government. So you have done the same thing in government.
Either
Arnab.
if
No, one
you
second,
have,
one second. General
if you
Qureshi.
Arnab,
asked
can I
a
ask-
question,
No, one second. General Qureshi.
either wait
Let
to
him respond.
listen
Let
to
General
the
Qureshi
answer or don't ask.
No, let General
The
Qureshi
point
come.
is, I think you've already made up your mind.
No.
Sound guy.
Hello?
No, please, Rashid Qureshi, I can hear you loud and clear. Please continue.
You already made up your mind what you're going to do.
No, I have
and
to
where
ask
do
you a
want
question.
to lead this argument to?
No, I want to ask you
and
a
you're
question.
not willing, you don't want your
Arnab.
audience to listen to the answers from the Pakistani side. It's
I am willing
unfortunate.
to listen to
It's
your answer,
very
but I want you to
unfortunate.
answer my
it's
question.
a pity
Saab, can I-
that
No,
you
watch.
just
Let him complete. Let him complete, Maroof.
have a briefing from your intelligence agencies
Right.
on how to, in your opinion,
Right.
embarrass Pakistan.
Sure.
And you start with these talk shows
Okay.
without waiting for an answer.
Okay. Can I say something?
The point
Can I ask
from
you a
your
counter
side
question
is
now?
Arnab, can I
to
ask-
ask the
Maroof, watch
questions and raise the rhetoric in India
Sure.
to have friction with Pakistan.
Sure.
You are succeeding.
Sure, sure.
But
Now, can I
if
ask you
the
something?
effort
No, one second.
is
Can I
to
ask
either
you something?
understand
No,
or
Maroof.
resolve
Maroof,
the
one second.
issues,
Maroof, I
then
want to
you
now
are
ask
not
General
taking
Qureshi something.
one
No,
step
I
in
find
that
one thing
direction.
common tonight
And
between
just
Javed
by
Hussain,
shouting
Javed Iqbal
or
and
not
Rashid Qureshi.
letting us answer,
And
you
that
will
is
never,
that you are,
never resolve
instead
this
of solving the problem, you want to create tension. And I won't be surprised if 16 December attack on Peshawar, you will be behind this. Time will find out that this 16 December attack in Peshawar would have been, time will tell that
Sir,
your people are
Sir,
behind
Arnab,
this.
this is too much.
request you not to trivialize things.
This is
You
too
are
much.
not-
Can I-
GD Bakshi's
Arnab,
response.
you
GD
sitting
Bakshi.
in
please.
Afghanistan
Can I-
planning.
Can I?
Please.
Your own people.
Admiral, kindly,
sir,
kindly, why then does your FIR, why does then your FIR not mention the Indians? You have filed the FIR against the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. You have named Mullah Fazlullah. You have on your television the photographs of the 7 people from the Jundullah have been shown, the murderers, the assassins have been shown on your television. For God's sake, with all this,
when
you
they
still want
will be
to
investigated, General
promote the
Bakshi,
fiction
when
of
they
an
will
Indian
be,
hand? This is
I
not
tell
fair.
this is not a coincidence that the fall of Dhaka was on 16 December and this incident on 16 December. We know the Indian mind.
Oh, please. If you haven't got over your defeat, if you haven't got over your ignominious defeat and your shameful
you haven't got
surrender,
over
then it's not our
defeat.
problem.
Believe you me, we have nothing defeat. We are not defeated. You are defeated. You have failed. Your problem is
Javed
that
Iqbal.
Admiral,
anti-Pakistan
Admiral,
Javed Iqbal, I want to now ask
Admiral,
a
you
question to
rose
Rashid
to be.
Qureshi. No, there's
You
no point
rose
in
to
getting
such
into
a high
rhetorics on
rank,
this one.
Admiral.
No, what's it? Addison Singh.
Are you a well-wisher of Pakistan, Admiral? You know today what has happened.
Of Pakistan,
One of your
and I am
Tehreek-e-Taliban
well-wisher of Indian
leaders,
masses.
Arnab,
he
can I-
has said
You are the people.
that
You are the
that
people.
you,
You are
the Pakistan
you are
Army
doing
has been using
terrorism
them
on
as cannon
Arnab,
fodder
you are a
since
terrorist
1948
on
in
television.
Kashmir.
You are doing
And
terrorism
they
on
have
television.
said that,
Right,
I
now-
hope you are also not a
Now,
Punjabi
please,
from
RSN
Punjab.
Singh,
You
just
are-
pull back.
using-
And
you
my
are-
question is only
you are
to
putting-
Rashid Qureshi.
you are adding
Rashid
fuel.
Qureshi on the screen, please.
Instead of solving
Rashid
the problem,
Qureshi, please, on the
you are
screen.
adding to the
I am
problem.
only wanting Rashid Qureshi on the screen for a minute. Rashid Qureshi. Now,
yes.
I had a question to ask you. My question is very simple.
Yeah.
Sir, you said you are questioning this present government. You said I am not in government. Now, with the greatest of respect to you, and Maroof, I am coming to you. I know you wanted to intervene on this, so let's put Maroof on the other side. My question to Rashid Qureshi. Sir, please listen carefully. Sir, for me today, the decision of the Islamabad High Court comes as no surprise. And let me tell you why. Because you were in power in December 2002, if I am not mistaken. In December 2002, was General Musharraf in power in Pakistan?
Yes.
And were you his military advisor or not?
I was his spokesman.
And therefore, you were very powerful in government. I personally remember interacting with you when you came for the Agra summit. I know how influential you were in government at that point of time. Now, sir, let me remind you of something which Maroof will remember. You had detained the leader of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, Maulana Masood Azhar. Maroof, you'll remember this, Maulana Masood Azhar, after the attack on the Indian Parliament.
IC 814.
Exactly. Under the same law, Maroof, that Lakhvi has been detained under, which is, Rashid Qureshi, the maintenance of public order. Till this point, do you agree with me, General Qureshi?
Public order.
Do you agree with me? Do you agree with me up to this point, General Qureshi?
I think you may be right, because,
Right,
but
okay.
I don't really remember exact details
so I'm asking you,
like
sir,
you do.
sir,
Perhaps
So because
you are right.
because many of your esteemed panelists, co-panelists from Pakistan today have called me all kinds of names, from calling me a terrorist to everything else. My question is, do you remember, General Rashid Qureshi, that at that time, the High Court had come again to his rescue, ordering his release? Exact same thing happened on December 15, 2002, when you released Maulana Masood Azhar, chief of the Jaish-e-Mohammed.
Arnab?
No, after a court turned down
Arnab?
Islamabad's request to extend his remand for 3 months. And at that time also, sir, just one more sentence, the Lahore High Court had said the authorities failed to produce sufficient evidence to hold him for a longer period in custody without a charge. Sir, 12 years later, you are doing the same
Arnab?
thing. Same thing, sir.
No.
Yes,
Arnab,
exactly. I've given you an example.
Can I
yeah, please respond.
attempt to answer?
Yeah.
Frankly, the rhetoric that is built up on what has happened in the High Court conveys to me a strange sort of warped thinking that has now permeated into, unfortunately, our brothers across the line of control or the border in India, where you are refusing to accept anything that we know or we try to convey to you as information that we have.
So what information? We gave you 7 dossiers about Lakhvi.
It seems
7 dossiers about
listen,
Lakhvi.
Arnab, it seems that after the Peshawar incident, I think India's panicked because Pakistan will discover where all this planning was done. Unfortunately, I hope it's not true.
I think
I just hope it's not true.
Sir,
maybe what you're conveying to us.
Sir, a failure of the prosecution. Look at the irony of the situation, General Qureshi.
Is a sort of a panic
1 second. Look at the irony of the situation.
government has got into,
Maroof
that Pakistan may discover that there was
General Rashid Qureshi.
In what happened in the
Qureshi.
Pakistani school in Peshawar.
General Rashid Qureshi.
I hope it's not
General
true.
Rashid Qureshi.
Because
fear not.
Only reason I can find
fear not
for
the
you to
Taliban
not listen
so
to
much.
A word of what we are saying.
Fear not, Sir General Rashid Qureshi. I restrained myself in my observations with
your
you.
Minds to what may be discovered by the Pakistani
okay, you made your point, now you're repeating yourself, sir. I restrained myself in my observations with you, and for only one reason.
What happened in
I restrained
Bombay.
myself.
We hate what happened in the Pakistani school.
Before you respond.
Terror by people blinded by hate.
General Qureshi, please.
General Qureshi, I'm running short of time, so I give Maroof the right to respond to that.
Let me, Arnab, please, I've been waiting. General Qureshi, you have used a combination of deniability and lack of information on how the government is right now working. But let me ask you 3 straightforward questions which any well-read, educated, sensible Pakistani will have answers to. First, do you agree that it has taken the Peshawar attacks and after that the government's decision to come up with a strong anti-terror mechanism in Pakistan when you've been in a state of deniability for 25 years, and it has taken that attack for you to suddenly wake up to the threat? Do you believe that 25 years was not enough as a wake-up call for you? Secondly,
Maroof,
sir, please let me complete. Secondly,
let me answer this.
Now, sir, please let me complete, sir. General, sir, you have spoken. Sir, please let me complete.
Acted against
Sir,
terror,
please let me complete.
And which I think is late.
Sir, please let me complete.
Is late.
No, you have not. You have selectively acted. You have selectively acted against terror, sir. Let me give you facts. One is, it has taken, I am quoting the Dawn newspaper 20th December article in which it says that is 25 years not good enough for you to come up with a strong measure against terrorism and one attack on Peshawar, and that also selectively. How many of your politicians have said that they are against terrorism? They have said they are against Taliban. They have not said they are against terrorism. Therefore, Taliban is your enemy, but terrorists are not your enemy. Secondly, do you deny that Imran Khan's rally was scheduled to take place? Sir, please hear me. Imran Khan's rally. General Saab, hear me. Imran Khan, sir, General Saab, please hear me. General Saab, please hear me. No, hear me out. Hear me out, sir. Sure. Imran Khan's rally was scheduled to take place on the same day as Hafiz Saeed's rally, and Imran Khan was advised by the military or police and establishment to back off to accommodate Hafiz Saeed's rally. That means that Hafiz Saeed today is more important than one of your major political opposition leaders, if not the Prime Minister himself. And thirdly, let me ask you that the courts which have given decisions, the courts in Pakistan, the courts, how many people has the ATC, how many people, General Saab, how many people has in the ATC Islamabad? How many?
The question is simple, Maroof.
How many people in Islamabad? The courts in Islamabad have punished.
Maroof,
Nobody.
I'll give 30 seconds.
None of the people have been punished
30
for acts of terrorism. Your judicial system is a farce.
Sir, Rashid Qureshi, I want to do some mathematics.
Sir, don't give me lectures on improving relations. You and General Musharraf orchestrated the biggest anti-India operation in Kargil, and you're talking of improving relations.
I don't accept.
Okay, Maroof, 1 second, hold back.
By the way,
sir, we don't trust right now the state of affairs in Pakistan. All we are saying, come clean.
Maroof, if you don't trust the affairs as you see them in Pakistan, we can turn around and say we don't trust the affairs that we see in India.
Sir, we closed the 2611 case and
fair enough.
No, what's Rashid Qureshi, last question. Rashid Qureshi, last question to you. Last question to Rashid Qureshi. Rashid Qureshi, before you come in, here's the question, please.
You cannot compare the state of affairs in India with what is in Pakistan. I am sorry, sir. There is no parallel. There is no parallel, General Saab. There is no Musharraf is on record to say I can unleash thousands of terrorists against India the day I want to. He said that in 2004. This is on record. Check it on the internet.
Maroof, a minute. No. Here's a fact. Here's a factoid
on the internet.
Here's a factoid for Rashid Qureshi.
General Saab, it's on the internet. Check it out.
Here's a factoid. A factoid is the GD Bakshi. I know you want to come in. We'll put him on the other side. Rashid Qureshi, here's a fact. In 6 years, the prosecution produces 50 witnesses. 1 minute.
Look,
sir, let me expose. Sir, at least let me expose the system in Pakistan.
I'm not ready to hear your facts.
Sir, please hear me. This is very interesting. In 6 years, you produce 50 witnesses. Ujjwal Nikam, that is at an average of 9 witnesses per year. And then you say, we have more than 100 more witnesses to produce. 9 witnesses a year, 100 more witnesses say, that means Ujjwal Nikam and GD Bakshi, 11 more years at least. What the Pakistani prosecution is saying. 1 minute. Sir, let me complete.
When you
wait till 2026. What's Ujjwal Nikam, am I correct? Am I correct?
Arnab, this is exactly we have suggested to the Pakistani prosecuting agency as well as the director of the disaster management of the Pakistan government when I had visited Islamabad, and we told them that why don't you hold a hearing on day-to-day basis? Why you are not constituting a special court? We were told that the anti-terrorist court is dealing with number of cases.
So, but 11
it means you don't want to give any top priority to the terror attack
they don't want
November. You are treating that terror attack as an ordinary
They don't want to. They'll risk another terror attack if required. And we've conspiracy theories. GD Bakshi, I'm closing 30 seconds to you. Closing after that this debate. The PK debate starts in 7 minutes.
Arnab, I would like to tell our Pakistani interlocutors that what is on trial is the Pakistani judicial system. No, General Qureshi, what is on trial is your Pakistani judicial system. There are three eyewitnesses. There is David Headley. Who told us that Zakiur Rehman Lakhvi is the architect of this attack. There is Abu Jindal, who has mentioned in our court that, this is Zakiur Rehman Lakhvi was the architect, and there is Ajmal Kasab.
Simple last question for Rashid Qureshi. Simple last question for Rashid Qureshi. Rashid Qureshi. Now tell me, suppose I tell you. Suppose I tell you.
I'm listening to you.
Okay? Wait for 15 to 20 years. Wait for 15 to 20 years at least for the killers of Peshawar to be punished. Will you wait 15 to 20 years? Just answer that. Say the prosecution will take 15 years. Will you wait?
15 to 20 years. What I'm saying.
Will you wait? Will you wait?
Now either listen to me, you see.
No, will you wait 15
What I'm
years?
trying to tell you is that no, you answer my question. You see, if you start accusing us the way you have been, and I start accusing you about your Prime Minister, who's now the Prime Minister, but was also known as the Butcher of Gujarat.
Sir, you know,
now,
that's the problem. I ask you a question. Will you wait 15 years for the killers of Peshawar?
You will refuse the visa to enter the United States. Now, you panic.
Sir, will you wait 15 years?
Because you go into your own rhetoric.
What about the butchery? What about the butchery that the Pakistan army did?
Well, I think the question is
whom are you butchering in FATA with your tanks and aircraft? Whom are you butchering?
What?
With your tanks
Whom are you butchering in Balochistan?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Surely you won't, sir. I talk about Masood Azhar, you don't understand. You know, I talk about Maulana Masood Azhar, you don't understand. I talk about the delay in judiciary, you don't understand. I talk about what you did when you were in PA, you don't understand.
No. Hold on.
I ask you whether only Pakistani blood matters to you and you don't understand.
I talk of the Butcher of the Gujarat and you don't understand.
Sir, please be careful, and I'll tell you this, there's a court process there. There's not one word which anybody can hold there in that particular case. If you have no answer, you have no right to speak against our Prime Minister. I thank you very much for joining me on debate number 1 on the News Hour.
Hopeless.
Then they will understand.
Hopeless.